Hey, hey, hey. Hope that each and every one of you are having an awesome and amazing day. I wanted to come on here and talk to you briefly. Hopefully, this won't be long. Um, but I wanted to talk to you guys about the power of self love and what it is, and wherever that conversation leads to once I start talking, that's what it's going to be. And so, self love is so important. Self love is so important. We are often in a world where we are wanting other people to love us a certain way, but you haven't learned how to love yourself first. The key word is self love, right? In my book, The Journey to Beautiful Living, I talk about the relationship that you have with yourself first before you are able to cultivate healthy relationships with other people. And self love is all about the overall positive regard and acceptance, right, of yourself. And sadly, there are a number of people walking through this world who have not learned to love on themselves and accept themselves for who they are, right? And, you know, it's the comparison of what you look like versus what somebody else look like, and hard on yourself about, um, you know, pretty much what you don't have or what you look like, or those things. So it's like it involves acknowledging your worth, being compassionate towards yourself, and fostering a deep sense of appreciation for who you are, um, and respect for you as a person, right? And so self-love is about recognizing your values and treating yourself with kindness, and being able to forgive yourself, because we all have flaws, we all have fallen short, right? And we have to learn to forgive ourselves, as we want to or have to forgive others. You can't even learn how to forgive other people until you learn how to forgive yourself for your own um, wrongdoings to yourself, or for allowing things to happen, because you're stepped out of what your values or beliefs are, right? And so, and being able to be in a place where you understand where you are and how you got there, that is self-reflecting, and that is self-love. And so I wanted to share this because in this season it's important, for where I believe that God wants to take each of us. We have to give us ourselves, being we have to be able to be compassionate. We have to be able to forgive ourselves. We have to know what our worth is, what our values are, what our beliefs are, and learn to do self-reflection, because you're not perfect, I'm not perfect, and learning from whatever the mistakes are. And so I know that I feel like there are like a number of signs that may indicate that you have self love deficiency. And I'm just going to give you a few. It doesn't mean that you don't love yourself. If I name something, right, you'd be like, well, I do love myself. If I name something on here that you feel like, well, that's the only thing, well, just really take whatever I say, just take a moment to self reflect. Why are you um, feeling this way, or why are you this way in this season of your life, right? And so, for instance, seeking external validation, right? That could be mean that um, you need to do some self reflecting. Why are you seeking the validation of other people to be able to start your business, to be able um, to feel like you're good enough, or I can't move forward unless I get the approval of someone else, right? When God told me to leave my job almost 10 years ago, I didn't leave right away because I was married at the time, and he was like, God didn't tell me that. So along the journey, though, after my divorce and things, God still didn't change his mind, right? He still told me, I told you something to do. And as a matter of fact, was sending people, complete strangers, walking up to me and saying, God told you to do something and you still haven't done it. And like I knew exactly what it was, right? But there were times where sometimes when you share things with people and they don't see the vision or get it, or they impart their own insecurities on you, and then you take that on, and now all of a sudden you looking for validation, you looking like, am I good enough, can I do this, and all these other things. In that, I would say, when God gives you something, don't take it to the streets. You need to sit with him and ask God to give you the courage or whatever those things are that you need to move forward in what he's calling you to do. Or like I did, I had to get into a small group of people who believed, people who was going to cheer me on and support the what God was calling me to do, and holding me accountable at the same time. With prayer and like, all right, sis, God told you to do something. What we doing? Come on now, And so that way, you stop looking for validation with the people that you love or your friends and these things who don't get it, right? And so, because you are good enough, you are good enough. You don't have to seek validation. Just go forth and conquer. Another thing that I would say is difficulty setting boundaries. Okay, boundaries. I love talking about boundaries because without them, you will allow people to run over you. You allow you to run over you because you don't even have boundaries for yourself. And struggling with asserting your personal boundaries, or saying yes to everything, knowing that you don't really want to do it because you haven't established a boundary. And even if you establish a boundary, you have to communicate the boundary to whoever needs to hear it, right? And so why are you afraid? Why are you afraid to say, this is my boundary around this, right? I haven't always, I don't know that I've had there. I'm sure there was times in my life where I didn't know that I needed to set a boundary. And, based on how something might have made me feel, I needed to communicate that, but was having a hard time communicating that. And I had to sit with myself to say, why are you having a hard time communicating this? This doesn't make you feel good. And that was looking back at my values and my worth, and having self-esteem, or those things that I had to work through in that moment around that particular thing. And so it still all leads back to self-reflection. We have to learn to reflect. People pleasing, um, that goes without saying. You get in this rut of doing things, and that goes back to boundaries. Um, and you don't really want to, but you're doing it to please other people, but you don't like the way it makes you feel. And so why? That's a self-reflecting moment where you need to have a moment with yourself, like, why am I doing this? And I don't like the way it makes me feel. I'm not happy when I'm doing this. Oh, because you don't want to hurt their feelings. Well, guess what? You are hurting yourself. They'll be okay. They can pick them feelings up and move on. It's about you. It's about putting you first. It's about loving on you. And that takes me to self-care, lack of self-care. Why? What is it in your life that's causing you not to put yourself first? Again, self-reflecting. You need to take a moment today and do some self-reflecting in every area of your life. Neglecting yourself, your well-being, your happiness, that's going to cause for overwhelm. You be overwhelmed, feeling stuck, miserable, attitude, all the negative things. And that's not what we want for you in life, period. I don't only want to say in this season. We don't want that for you in life, period. And so those are a few things that that can indicate that you have self-love deficiency. And even when you have like self-criticism, right? That negative self-talk has to go. Negative self-talk, every time you turn around, saying everything that come out your mouth is negative. I have a few people in my life that seem like every time they open their mouth, they have negative self-talk, right? Self-criticism. And, me and a few other people, when we are around, we try to help, them by changing how they should say something, or how they or asking, why did you feel like you had to say it that way, right? And it's about self-reflecting and having people around you that can hold you accountable when they hear you doing those things, because it only keeps you stuck, right? But what I want to do, so those are some things that I feel like that are indications that you may have self-love deficiency. And if I name something, and I had a list, but I just wanted to share a few. If I name something that like, I kind of deal with that, just don't love on yourself. This is some self-love time. Like, okay, I may have self-love deficiency. I'm going to reflect on that area and figure out what it is, or why am I in this space. And sit with yourself and ask yourself the hard questions, and be okay with whatever the answer is. If it causes you to shed tears, fine. That tears are healthy, okay? And that's a step in your growth process. But it's so important as we on this journey to loving ourselves fully, because that's how we teach other people how to love us. You feel like you keep attracting the same type of man or the same type of friendship. You need to do some self reflecting. You need to do the inner work so that you can become the best version of yourself and attract the things that you want to attract. And so I want to give you three things I want to give you three things that you can do to start your journey for self-love. So the first thing is practice self-compassion. I just said that. Give yourself some grace. So as you are doing your self-reflecting this evening, um, give yourself some grace, because guess what? You taking the time to self-reflect. That is major. With everything that goes on in the world that keeps us busy, people generally won't take time to sit with themselves. And sitting with yourself is a beautiful thing, and to self-reflect. So it's time for you to self-reflect, and self-reflection. So practice self-compassion. Y'all gonna have to go with me to this. Y'all gonna have to go with me to open up this door. Oh snap! Hold on one second. Okay, y'all gonna have to walk with me real one good moment, because my best friend just arrived. Okay, just arrived. I said arrived. Just arrived. 1 second. And the next thing is nurture self-care habits. Right? When we are nurturing self-care habits, you have to learn to take a moment for yourself. It's nothing wrong with you um, nothing wrong with you taking a moment, whether it's 30 minutes, whether it's an hour, for yourself each and every day. And so in saying that, oh, it's dark now, honey. And so in saying that, so hey, best friend, so I this is why I had to get up from the computer, from my desk. Okay, so I'm gonna just sit right here for a second. So in saying that, self-care is very, very important, and it's imperative that you take a moment to take care of yourself, right? It's whether that's taking a nice bubble bath. Um, my favorite is getting eucalyptus plants, putting it in the shower with my shower bomb, and just have a whole spa-like experience. You can do that every night. The eucalyptus plants, you can get it from a Trader Joe's or Whole Foods. I know Trader Joe's for sure. I'm not sure about Whole Foods, but I think, I'm not sure. But get it, put it in your shower, and close the door and put a do not disturb sign, okay? For the children, for the husband, for whoever, right? This is your time. This is your time. And take your time when you are bathing. Don't go in and say, I got to jump in the shower because I got to do this. No, that is your time for you. Embrace it. Rub on yourself, love on yourself. It's okay. So the first thing was practice self-compassion. The second thing was nurture self-care habits. And the third thing, challenge that negative talk. Challenge it with replacing them with positive affirmations, and replacing them with positive affirmations. And every time you have a negative thought, combat that with something positive. So I would like to say, write those negative thoughts down. And once you write those negative thoughts down, and then write something positive beside it, and then start speaking it out loud. And so when that negative thought, because they don't go away, it's not an overnight thing. This is a repetition thing where you are arming yourself with your armor. And when those thoughts come, you already have what your positive affirmation is going to be to combat that negative thought. And so those are three things that I want to leave with you as you journey to loving on yourself, self-love. The first relationship should be with yourself before it is with other people. And so practice self-compassion, nurture self-care habits, and challenge negative self-thought. Those are the three things that I'm leaving with you today. I am having a master class, so be on the lookout for that information. You can sign up for, especially for tomorrow, because I don't know when you're going to be looking at this. I'm going to say it is the 18th. So if you catch this video afterwards, just be on the lookout for it, because I will be having them periodically. That is it. If you don't forget to grab my book, The Journey to Beautiful Living, 7 Pillars for Living a Fulfilled Life. You can get it on KisaCampbell.com/shop and anywhere books are sold. That is all. I wish you all a great afternoon or evening at this point, and know that beautiful living awaits you.